Okay.
What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session, and today we're gonna be looking at a hand history from Joe River, who played the WSOP 100 last Sunday and took fourth place for 12K. Tell us about it, Joe.
Hi, for sure, it's a pretty nice tournament and a pretty big field and rough field. It's not an easy field, it's just the high stake reg and you don't have satellite for this MTT. You gotta have some,
$100 online. Start Sunday morning with all the big games. All the big players are in there, like we see P. Gregorio, K. Papadous, lots of big guys around here. Well, everyone is there. It's the WSOP 100, right?
yep,
Alright, so let's get started. Good start.
4 out of 2000. That's good.
So I like checking a lot there. Yeah, that's good. It's a nice sideboard to work on a range bet, which face a check raise. We have the good, so we call. He bets. Now it's getting more tricky. We're drawing to the nuts. We got like 20% equity minimum. If the king is ever good. Puts us in a box here with this sizing, but the problem is we could be ahead of a portion of his flush draw.
I don't remember if I call or fold, but with the sizing, when I check, for sure it's a call.
I don't know. I don't know because pot odds are, it's close here. The only thing that is very close that he might do that with like 7, 9, 7, 10, 7 of clubs, and then we're ahead of all of his flush draws. Interesting spot. I think it's worth a look.
You're in position, then I would call.
So we start 80 big blinds deep. Button cut off at low jack. And then the small blind call. Big blind fold. We get the ace, 3, and 4 for a board. Small blind has some leads here, which is funny. Oh no. Oh no, they wiped my color codes. So. We see that small. Will jack take action at 2.2, facing a raise. It's a big raise.
Almost 3x.
Let's see here. Alright, so which sizing is the small one going for the most? 11. It's supposed to be raising big here. Interesting. Let's say we go for 8. What are we supposed to do? With a hand like king 9 suited, pure call, never raising. There's a sliver with mostly just a call. And then on the turn, 6 of diamonds. And then he bets. Goes for an alpha, which is not a thing here. All my options have been reset.
Yeah, so flop that's not played a lot, huh? That's fine.
So, well, we can see if he bets alpha.
I was go for 12.7. I think then even you can call.
Okay, yeah, we still have a profitable call here on this turn. So in general, facing this action when we have clubs. Don't fold any clubs here. Okay, alright,
That's on a half pot bet, right?
yeah.
But
No,
I like,
that's
if it was
even against a bigger size, so.
really on a pot, full pot bet,
Well,
we
Yeah,
still,
on the sim, we have like 80% pop.
oh man, okay.
Check, check, we lose to an ace. Okay,
And that's virtually because it's we have the nut flush. If it was like a lower flush, we'd probably just get rid of it, huh?
well, the sim here is not folding any flush draws.
Any flat, okay,
You're in position, so you have good.
okay.
That's also a reason, I think.
Check on the flop, we bet big, I think that's good.
Yeah, and because we're deep stacked, we have the potential to get paid big if a flush comes in. So
I think on this texture, we have a big bet. I'm not sure if we bid bet with like two pair. But this texture for me is clearly a spot where we bet big. Cut off, big blind. Let's see.
I range bet.
I don't think it's but. You know what? It is a range bet, but there's a lot of big bets as well. On Jack 10
Damn.
I'm not in the good one. Let's see, look out. Look in.
the big blind's gonna be wide though, so
My colors are back. Okay. So. We got 60 big blind, we got the cutoff raising, the big blind calling. Jack 10 8. So Jack 10 and then 8 of clubs, I think, 8 of hearts. And big blind check. Think we bet big a lot. Don't really bet big, it's a range bet small. 80% of range is just betting small. We do size up a little bit. But nothing more really than half pot. And like 10 8 is using all three sizes, checking some, betting small, and then using a little bit of the big size, but it's very close. Flush completes. That's gonna be interesting. So we bet small, he calls. For a spade. Are we supposed to check back here? He checks. We are supposed to bet a little bit, but mostly a check. It's a check or size up a little bit. So 5.5 into 10 is going off pot a lot. So either check or bet off pot. And on this 5 river, we always call, I think. Much choices. And we win. Okay. Not high board, no spade. Yeah, we bet fold. That's good. I think that kind of spot, you wanna bet more without the backdoor flush, because you have less equity, so you don't mind bet folding.
Like 50% or
I'm just guessing honestly, but, I think like if you had like, other suits, you probably check more often, I think a hijack,
here with the backdoor.
yeah. So the hijack raise,
Yeah.
and then
Don't like it. No.
call 9 7 3. 9 7 3. No. Messed it up. 9 goes 7 of heart. 3 of diamonds. He checks. Yeah, I didn't think about it. Like these kind of boards were gonna be very polar because we have ace 9, king 9, queen 9. Pocket tens, pocket jack, so very often we're gonna go big bet here. So that's why it's going like, it's over betting this flop. Literally over betting on this flop, which is not very standard. I like it. So flop over bet, that's spicy. And then a hand like a six. Ah, see, usually. I thought like you would wanna bet a little bit more without the backdoor, but no, he wants to bet with the backdoor more. I like that. We turn the flush, I think I would go 70%, 80% pot, that's too small. Emotion and usually the blind versus blinds, like you bet small on the flop. And then you size up to or almost pot on the turn. And you're gonna do that kind of with a wide range. Um. Just curious, is everything good here? Yeah, everything is alright.
We have raised that river though. Like we were winning so often.
On the last end,
What are we afraid of?
you know what, maybe there's merit in looking into it. So this one is blind versus blind. Or 40 big blind effective. And we limp call. Yeah. So we limp. And
Yep, limp call.
check. Nine of clubs, 8-3 of spade. From the small blind with a hand like jack nine of spade, mostly checking. Surprising because I would bet as well, and the sim is checking. But okay, say we bet one. Calls. An ace of spade on the turn. We're supposed to be checking or betting small, one of the two. See, that's the general motion usually like, here the pot is 5. And the size we use the most is like 3.3 or 5. So in general, that's the motion, like the first bet with that 1. And then we size up to closer to pot. But we went to that's half pot, 3.3. And any blue here.
Raise us.
Now to keep this combo, we're gonna go smaller. And then we raise. Okay, you know, Joe played it perfect. It's not raising this time.
I was wondering about the
What
river.
kind of hand? Oh, I see, I see. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it's more or less always the same idea, and it's even more true now because the ace is out there. If you look at the flush draws, there's like a portion of the deck that benefits from like calling and checking. And it's that one. And there's a portion of the deck that benefits from like raising back and trying to get like, it's more or less always this portion of the deck, like the lower kickers that are trying to get better ones to fold. But yeah. So you
Yeah,
wanna
the-
raise kind of the high, low ones more than, the middle part of the deck, and that's like a pattern we see very often.
Yeah, the idea is that when we have the jack here, when we raise with jack nine, we block the hands that we want him to call us with, which is the nine of spades. So we're happier to bet with jack six or jack five, which unblock the hands that we want him to call with us.
It also makes sense. Okay, so we just call here, and then on the river, is this a check when we? So we call. The river is a deuce of clubs,
Blankety blank.
you're a check. Well. Seems like Joe is pretty fairly well, check, and then he goes for the big bet. And now. Now, you know what? Just all is right. We should be
Nice.
stuffing it here. So here, you could be going all in.
No, you didn't.
Oh, he did it. I think I went too fast on this one. Okay, so, yeah,
Small planes.
so that's a tough spot. Because it's 105 and it's a PKO, so this guy. You know, he probably shoves,
It's not a PKO.
Oh, okay,
it's not a PKO, snap fold.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Hard to trade that here. You call. A little bit nitty. Look at hijack. Hijack versus small blind, 50 big blind effective. Hijack raise, small blind. Yeah, it's pure three bet. There. It's never calling. We don't close the action, so we're not supposed to raise here. Check on the turn, I think. we-
Wait, I actually think it's a bit opposite there. I think when you're not closing the action, you're more inclined to raise. Not necessarily on this exact board texture, but in multi-way spots generally, if there's a player behind, you're interested in pushing them out with like
No,
speculative
absolutely
junk.
not, Nick. Tim, I'll invite you to check out some of the older content we did. We got ourselves a hand on the DTO multi-way trainer and we grinded it and we found out some pretty interesting heuristics.
Mhm.
This is one of them. And when you don't close the action here as the player in a sandwich, you don't have a raising range at all.
I strongly disagree. I mean,
You
the
can
raising range
disagree
would,
all
the
you
sh-
want, Tim, but
No.
I have a software that basically says so. So you can
I
have
mean,
your opinion.
I
all
can't
you
say
want.
about like this exact spot, and I don't think this is necessarily the hand we would wanna go to town with and the board we would wanna go to town with, but like,
I am telling you
yeah,
Tim,
my-
that this is how it's going, okay?
I believe you've seen that
So
pattern
when
somewhere,
you
but I
give
just,
an
I'm not sure
opinion
it
like
generalizes
this,
quite that
then
extremely.
is it supported by anything? Or is it just
Yeah,
your
I mean-
personal opinion?
Hey, I appreciate that, but I'm not just like speaking to hear myself talk here. Matt Affleck and Andrew Brokus have talked about these issues a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's like similar to why small blind pre-flop, you're more interested in three betting. It's a similar concept because you give the big blind a good price to call behind you. And again, not necessarily in this exact board texture, but in general, when you're the second player here in like the squeeze position, it's you have an interest in pricing out some of big blinds continues.
Are you talking pre-flop or on the flop?
No, I think it's a similar heuristic for the same reason that small blind three bets more than big blind pre-flop. For the same reason, we also would raise here more than we would closing the action in the big blind. Because in the big blind, you're guaranteed to see the turn. If you call this four big blinds, we're not guaranteed to see the turn, right?
I'm not sure if I follow you, Tim. Go ahead, say it again.
Yeah. It's again, coming from from a lot of Matt Affleck and Andrew Brokus talking in like, not necessarily, I mean, some solver informed stuff, but also some like general like principles, like basics. You are more interested in raising, like in this configuration, the small blind is gonna raise a bit more here than the big blind would. Because the big blind gets to close the action and they're gonna get a pretty good price. When, by the time they're calling, they're gonna be calling 4 into close to 20, you know, so like they'll have some speculative stuff that that are priced in the call, like they could call 6-5 suited here. for
Right,
example.
okay, so I understood you correctly. You think the small blind has a raising range here, but there's softwares that are out nowadays that allows us to train the spot. And it says that when you don't close the action, you don't have a raising range, and we did actually.
I'd be curious to see it.
I
I wonder if it's particular to certain textures, certain input ranges, like I feel like there's certain
There are, of course,
stack
exception
depths.
cases always,
From
but
what we've seen, Tim, that's why I invite you to look at the video, but from what we've seen, it's whenever you don't close the action. It's because as the small blind, you have draws, very strong hands and all kinds of stuff, actually. And then you wanna invite this guy in the hand almost every time. He has a raising, we don't.
Yeah.
I'll put a pin on this and I'll take a look. I think it's probably not that generalized.
Do
Part
you
of-
raise like with
But you
7 or
say that,
4?
you say that, Tim, do you have anything to support your opinion? Because I use the software to support my.
I already,
Mhm.
I already answered. I mean, I like
No,
also,
no.
we're not looking at it right now and, you know, there's a million different board textures. You know, there's more,
No, but I'm being
Poker
clear
hands.
here, Tim. I have a software that tells me this is how it's done. All right, it's clear. A software, a scientific proof, right? You come here and you're like, I don't think so. I'm asking you, what do you back this with? And you're
I
like.
answered already. I answered already. It's coming from
So,
Matt Affleck and
I
Andrew
mean-
Brokus.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow,
How's it going?
wow.
So one of the heuristics that we saw and we looked at was if you want to raise in this spot, how do you balance your range by not just showing that you have a strong hand? Like what equity bluffs do you have here that can sustain a large bet in a multi-way pot, right? Like 5-6 of clubs. And if you have 5-6 of clubs, you kind of want the big blind to come along because you have a strong enough equity in the hand to weather the storm. And so when you raise in the middle, you expose that you have very little room for bluffs and you just get too much folds because the MDF is already shared between the small blind and the big blind in this spot. So when he bets big, 2/3 pot, and you call, you already put a ton of pressure on the big blind here.
Yeah. I made a comment on it because it was such a weird thing, like in the study stream. So I'm looking for that to try to find it.
What are we doing today? Sorry, I was running late.
Joe
We're
Rivers.
having a quick look at, Joe Rivers hand history.
Oh, this is from last Sunday. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm having issues here.
And now the flop. Ace 4-7. Is there a flush?
Nope, rainbow.
What do you guys think is the most similar flop? Ace 8-3?
I think ace 8-3 is pretty similar, though it does have the Broadway, but still.
I
Still
think,
pretty-
you could probably
it-
construct this pretty well in HRC, couldn't you?
hey, Tom, Jos.
No, we can't do this in nature.
Am I, oh, wait, it's post flop. Sorry, I'm goofing. I'm
Sorry?
goofing.
I think ace 8-3 is pretty reasonable.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Vandaag
have to
toevallig
be-
niet, gisteren wel, ja.
So the small blind checks, the big blind checks, and then the low jack bets. What kind of size? are
Ik
60%
ben nog
or
aan het
something.
pokeren, dus ik weet niet hoe lang het toernooi nog duurt. Ik denk dat ik, ja, nou, tegen ben ik waarschijnlijk wel
we?
klaar.
Alright, so the first thing. Is he supposed to bet big?
Ja, moet even nadenken.
Not really. He's supposed to be betting small.
Or it's checking, right?
So
It checks.
let's look at both options. If he bets small, does the small blind has a raising range?
21% of the
He
time.
does. He
Look at that.
does. Surprising.
If we flat call, what is big blinds flat call behind us?
Hang on. I wanna see against the bigger side, because that's what we were facing.
Yeah, do something.
How do you go back?
You gotta call or raise or something.
Joep, hi.
Hang on. Okay, so here, check, check. Okay, so the bet is here. 3. Do we have a raising?
First time here, don't know any of you or the dynamic of the group. Interesting. Back and forth.
Interesting.
I see, we didn't do much of the 20 big blind ones. A deeper stack, we don't have a raising range whatsoever whenever when we're in a sandwich here. And here we do have a raising range. It's all in though.
Well, is it just about the small blind then?
So against the big bet, the small line is going all in sometimes. What's up, everybody? This is the poker. Yeah, thing is, this board, let's look at 30, because this one has like, it's a tricky spot because we're 20 big blind effective against this guy, but we're like 50 effective against the original better.
And it would be worth looking at it in different spots, like it's worth looking at 20 and it's worth looking at it deeper.
A7-4. Check, check. Bet.
%. And Whoa, we're learning new stuff now.
But here it's only razor fold, is that right, on the flop?
Well, tell you what, then, we did this for a couple of hours, like,
I believe you've seen that in other spots. It's just like I said, it
we
conflicts
did it,
with,
no,
like,
but we
with
drilled it. and
Andrew
it was
Brokus, who like,
Very,
I trust
very,
with my,
very clear, but I
Yeah,
guess I'm wrong, so no problem.
yeah, that's why I mentioned it, because that does go opposite of what I've seen in some other spots where, again, for the same reasons as pre-flop, when you're not
Did
closing the
you-
action, you're not
did you-
guaranteed to see a turn.
Did you use
you-
softwares to do this?
I mentioned, coming from Matt Affleck and Andrew Brokus, I mentioned,
Okay,
Is it just small blind then?
who I do trust generally. I trust both of them. They don't just like shoot their shit, you know?
Yeah, Affleck's good.
That's why I spoke up. Anyway, good to see it. I don't have DTO, so it's nice to see it here. I'm actually surprised that it's in that last configuration you looked at, there was literally only raising or folding, and I think we don't play like that. I think
so I
you know,
guess we're
ace
gonna have to
10
go
or
back
something.
to do this multi-way training because, yeah. For me here, it was very, very clear. We don't have a raising range when we, in reality, because the motion was trying to invite this other player, you know? But, yeah, sure.
It can be the specific situation also, that yes, 7-4 is having some gut shots, etc. for the big blind.
Well, I don't know if you guys were here, but I remembered we did a lot of this and we never had the raising range in the sandwich.
I think this is a perfect example of never using absolutes when talking about poker. 101.
Exceptions are always there.
Never use absolutes.
Turn it jack, and then we just bomb it.
I'm interested to see how Mr. Joe River plays.
If he's really in it, as he says,
Yeah, I'm suspicious. He's bluffed me off better hands before. I've had my hands burned.
I also think he's exaggerating.
Okay, so this is interesting.
That's a nitty fold, but still a good fold, I think.
You know, I don't know if I hate this fold. I don't think I do. So it's a three-way pot at this point. Pretty strong ranges.
We got called for 85% sizing, or like 90% sizing practically.
Probably not a ton of king, jack. Unless it's the suited one, like king, jack diamonds, king, jack spades. I feel like this is gonna be a lot of ace jack sometimes, only two combos of that. Yeah, I like this fold, to be honest. I think you're probably smoked here.
Here's the thing, you know,
You
right
got
now
too much to-
people are kind of raising rivers like liberally. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, well,
There's a small, like a little bit like the better players right now are trying to like raise river bets. These block bets, like they're attacking it a little bit. But if we look at the quality of our hand, we have a spade in our hand and that's not very good. But we
Yeah.
have a queen and we block king queen, which is the nuts.
And sorry, the
so,
action again was it's single raised, we pre-flop raised. Flop
It's,
checks through, we hit, we,
Uh,
and we bomb turn huge. When we hit the
my,
ace.
my thoughts are, like, on the turn after it goes bet call, wouldn't your bluffs wanna just run equity right here? Or like your draws and everything? Like, if you were this guy, wouldn't you just jam or raise here? Facing this
10.
action?
Ace 10, yes.
Maybe
Well-
not, but he is closing and he's getting a good price. Like if he has a combo draw, he has the odds to just draw to it.
I think if he
Sure.
has like pocket three, pocket deuce, he's never calling.
Oh, I would think
Agreed.
they're
Agreed.
in, like. Ace
Agreed,
ten,
threes and deuces have gotta get it in, but like, I'm expecting a fair number of hands like queen, jack of diamonds, and they're pretty comfortable calling here. They're getting a great price.
King, queen of diamonds also, I mean, it's not only. king.
Yeah, right, stuff like that, and he should have
But
stuff
also
like that.
ace jack might call.
Probably does.
Yeah, ace 10,
How many king queen call here?
not many.
I think
Well,
they really
exactly.
wanna have.
Two combo
some
of king,
suits.
queen suited. No, just one because I got the queen of spade.
Yeah, only king, queen of diamonds probably.
Okay.
At least you shouldn't call with more, but you can have ace jack, I mean.
In
Still-
my
think ace-
mind, you got two bare minimum.
I'm kinda with you here, Joe. It's a hard fold and I think I just kind of sigh through the chips in here sometimes personally, but.
What are his
Yeah.
bluffs?
Well, so he could turn like a king,
Oh.
jack into a bluff here, I think. So if he's got like a combo draw like king, jack, and he rivers the
There are
jack
only
knowing
two-
it.
I
only
think
two-
that's a super
there are only
elite
two
play
valid
if he's
combos.
doing that.
There are
I
only
think
two
that's a-
valid combos.
That's just an incredibly good play if he's able to do that. It's
Yeah.
correct. It's
It's
reasonable.
high
It's
level.
a reasonable
Oh, it's high
bluff.
level for sure, but,
Alright, so this guy is
turning second pair
nittier
into a
than Joe
bluff.
River.
And somebody might try and
I
Sunday.
think that's why I fold.
This
Yeah.
this guy just has ace jack.
yeah, I think like when you're weighing all the bluffs and the capability of finding them versus just the value. You're probably, your goose is cooked here, huh?
This guy in 50 hands has done nothing.
Now he wants to be like a river hero all of a sudden?
Yeah,
Yeah, I like a
Yeah.
fold, Joe. I think this is a quality fold.
Yeah, also his overcall on the turn is,
Well, that's the most suspicious spot to me, Josh, because
Yeah.
it's a perfect opportunity to bluff if you're really that guy. If you wanna
Yeah.
bluff,
Bluff the
20
turn.
big blinds, a 30 or stack is already sitting there, like, take it down.
Chad asks, would 4-5 of spades or 4-5 of diamonds just call on the turn? I would just call with 4-5, sure.
So I would say this, these low flush, or oh wait, 4 or 5 diamonds, 4 or 5 of spades.
He's in the small blind. He doesn't
I
have.
mean,
a
you got
small
a
blind.
straight, you got equity you can turn. I don't really know. I haven't looked at a three-way spot like this. If I'm heads up, though, I'm probably gonna wanna try to lower SPR a little bit, just because you're unblocking a lot of premium hands. I'd probably raise.
Yeah,
I don't
4-5 is gonna raise the turn, I think.
I think three-way where like there's all, the SPR is kind of like getting into an attractive area. I don't know if it does three ways. I would think so, right? It's the nuts with super draws.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but does he ask for 5? He's in the small blind. He
No,
folds
I
out.
think,
Yeah, never happens.
like, it has to be the ace jack of diamonds.
Ace jack of diamonds seems pretty viable here.
It has to be that because
Yeah, but any
what calls the
jack
turn
might
so
call.
big? And then. Like, what doesn't mind any river here? Like, it has to be a combo that has one of the two flush draws. Because he wouldn't just call here.
It's just gonna be king, queen here sometimes too, I think, with like the flush draws like you're talking about, that complete
sure.
to, yeah.
Maybe
But would
king
you-
queen of diamonds.
you have
king
ace
queen
jack
of
here into
spades, But
two
it's
people?
something that doesn't mind that draws can.
Could be ace jack.
King rocks with king
I
queen.
wouldn't jam ace jack there. That's me.
Okay, big fold, big fold.
Hmm.
Interesting.
I like the fold.
Just doubled up. Yeah.
It's fold, but when the guy is more in it than I think it's just a fold.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good one. I think you should block here.
Yeah, put some value.
I was not in the check fold mode. I was in the check call mode in the river.
Sure.
Is your screen frozen or is it just me?
It works
It's
for
just
me.
you, Galen.
No, I think it's just you, it's going.
Alright, caramba.
30% pot. Everybody's got 30% pot, right?
Do we like this?
30%.
Oh, I would size up here. I'm trying to cooler all of his a6.
Right? Like, we think he's folding ace jack?
Well, he doesn't have many ace jacks, more like ace 5, ace 4.
I mean, anything, right?
So I would blast it.
I wouldn't have done it anyway.
Alright,
I think you miss a great leading opportunity here on this turn. After it goes check on the flop and this turn rolls off. Pretty sure the big blind has a ton of leading.
probably. I would say it's probably half the range. He's not deterred though. I like jamming this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, no jam. Well. That's
Be careful. Good.
I put the send on the solver and it's a jam.
You put it on the multi-way.
Yep.
Does wizard has that?
I got this program too in the
It's just
On the-
pre-flop. It's just pre-flop. Pre-flop Academy can do it. I mean,
Exactly.
It's
Okay,
just
ton of
you can
things.
do it.
everything can do it.
So button cut off. Alright.
Get buyer.
You need button cutoff 30 or 40. I mean, honestly, it'll probably jam up to 60. I wouldn't be surprised.
But
I think 45 D jam.
Okay,
Right.
well at 30, it's the only combo that doesn't do it, but
Yeah, but
everything
it's
around.
close. In the middle, so it can be just.
Joe's a little shorter though, too, right? Yeah, closer.
28,
28. Yep.
I think I actually have 27.5 ranges with PFA.
no way. Nice.
If you really wanna split hairs.
Yeah.
I
the
like
minutia.
splitting hairs personally.
No,
27.5 big blinds, multi-way. What was it? Cutoff button?
Cut off button, big blind.
Cutoff button. Yeah, it's actually the only combo that's flatting. It's like protecting the flatting range
Yeah.
at 27.5.
I like betting here.
All the way.
Yeah, you have a club and a spade,
Yep.
so.
Club and gut shot, yeah, seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Even
you
multi-way.
bet with club, you double barrel on clubs or on like equity turns, like a jack.
But maybe the ace is too high to do it, but I don't know.
Multi-way, I'm not too frisky.
Easy bluff catcher,
Yeah, this is a call, right?
as
Right.
you played.
I mean,
Yeah.
as played, I could imagine. Oof, it's close to a
Raising?
raise on the
Are-
river.
are you-
It's close. I'm not going to, but it's close, I
But
think.
still, you have showdown equity with your ace 10 on the.
Boy, that's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, never
I just-
raise river there.
I just don't think it's a bluff catcher. I mean, I think it's just strong. It's just really strong. Maybe it's not strong enough to raise, but I'm expecting to win a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm expecting,
Like,
yeah.
he's value betting 9 of clubs, 8 of clubs, 7 of clubs, right? I mean,
But when you raise, are you gonna get called by the 8 of clubs?
that's the thing. I think not, but
No.
I'm just trying to say like where in my range I feel like I am. I feel like I'm close to the top.
Yeah, I could see that being in the neighborhood.
Our
of
bluff
eight.
catcher here is like 2 pairs. Those are
Yeah.
bluff catchers.
Okay,
clubs.
so I had like ace ten offsuit. Mixing 50-50. And it's not really picking whether the suit or not. It's not like bet more with the club or not. Just betting quite frequently. So here would be diamonds. The diamond betting more. It seems like. Yeah, the diamond is betting more often. Actually,
Okay, yeah.
so you bet a little bit more when you have the diamond in your hand there.
The diamond, not the club.
Well,
Club, he means club. It's just on
It's
the
a
other
diamond
board,
in the
diamonds.
simulation, but club on this board.
I see.
Yeah, we played it a bit, So I mean, here you're just always calling and nothing to do. Oh, he beats us. He was beating us all the way.
Lose the minimum.
Good call, good fold.
Yep.
Is
Good
it a limp-
raise.
Is this
I
a
think it
limp
raises-
call at this?
I think it
depth?
mixes. It probably mixes. You could raise this or limp this, I would guess at this stack depth. Like the
Well,
whole range is gonna mix, don't you think? I could be wrong. I haven't looked at this range in a little bit.
I don't know. I'm folding this one, so if it's a call, I'd like to know.
Oh, I think it's too nitty to fold.
Oh,
Nine, eight off. Yeah, okay. No, it's a good call.
Have you
Well,
ever
it's
thought
a good
about
call.
raising that flop there, Joe?
on ace though.
It's a possibility, but I don't put this on my game, but I need to put it, that's for sure.
It would be interesting to see
Precisely
if you
because
have
it's an
raised.
ace.
Yeah, because it's an
Precisely because
ace.
it's an ace. He's worried about the ace, sometimes as much as you are. Like his king jack is like, oh, maybe I can just take this down. And then.
We're gonna get
oh
a
shit,
lot
I
of
got
really
raised.
honest responses here, and we also have, thin equity to improve. It usually makes an attractive combo.
When you raise there, you got the clearance of all his range C bet with
Yeah.
air.
Yeah, you get a clean response, right?
I fold out a lot of better hands and you have equity.
Not really, not really.
What's
The,
the
the
call?
It
Oh,
likes
yeah.
but
Well,
look at
there's
9-7
slivers,
for
right?
instance.
There's
Yeah,
the-
look at 9-7 for instance. I mean, it gets a little froggy, right? 9-7 is really interesting. Like it's really kind of getting excited with the 9-7.
And
Yeah,
somehow the 9-8, it's the 8 of spade that he really wants to have.
I think it's just saying if like you're doing all of them, it's too much, so it's probably just picking.
Spades, He wants to have a
Picking one.
spade to do it.
What about the 9-7? How is it breaking the range up there? Like that this one's really interesting. Like it's a big part of this strategy.
Spade is dominant. You have a spade in your hand, you do it a lot more. Without the spade, you still do it, but less.
It's
Yeah,
splitting the
you-
8 and the 7 here. So if you're doing both of these combos, you're doing it too much, I think is kind of, and it's just picking bottom of the deck up, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm thinking here.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the ability to barrel the turn. If you look at 9-8 suited, it's doing it 3/4 of the time. So probably all three of the backdoor suits are
Yeah, good point.
really
Yes.
high frequency here.
Yeah, I
Because
would think
when-
so too.
When you turn equity, you can barrel, which is just hard to do with this combo of 9-8 offsuit.
Right. Well, the suited ones are like a no brainer. Like you said, if you have the backdoor flush draw, you're kind of like,
So
It's time
with
to
the
party.
spade there, this is actually the combo I wanna do it.
yeah, but as played, I mean, that line's obviously fine too. Yeah, I like continuing here. This hand's too good to just let it go.
How do you structure your raising range here with flush draws?
Sometime I raise, sometime I just call.
I would go high low here. I think this is probably when I'm gonna just flat.
The
So
guy
with
got an
15,
ace a
no.
lot of time on his
You're right.
raising range.
I
You're
think
right.
we
Yeah,
like
we
to
are.
have some interactivity with the straight, which we have here.
Yeah.
Mostly it's
Like I
nothing.
prefer this over Jack 9, for example. I'd much prefer this.
Yeah, it's an interesting question at this stack depth, if we're just gonna ball our equity up and say like, let's go with it. It's just an ace high board, so I would, in my mind, I'm structuring a little more defensively.
I think there's some proportion of our flushes, lower ones especially, that are just
Yeah, but also
gonna
king high flushes with a low
take
card.
whatever folds we can get and.
Five, king
run 'em.
six,
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah, I think the
5-4
trashy
that I'm
ones.
in,
king two, deuce, king three. We all interact with the board also. That's what
So
I.
the king, the old king 8, the king 8.
But even queen flushes probably then.
Diamond. So the low one that interacts with the straight, you got a little 6-3, a little 5-3. The high-low combos, the jack fives, queen fives, king fives of the world. And
Okay,
it
it's
looks
with
like
an
we
8,
even,
a 6, a 5, a 3, straight interaction.
to
Yeah,
be
but also
fair
with
though,
a high card in it. Huh?
yeah, jack 8 is definitely, raising some here.
Is that diamonds or?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
done.
gonna be diamonds for sure, I would
Okay, so
say.
straight interaction and leading towards
Spades,
the worst one.
sometimes it's spades.
you call with the jack 9, but you can raise with the jack 8.
Yeah,
You have more straight equity with an 8.
typically though, you're not making mistakes here by playing check call. Is what we saw there.
Okay. You
Yeah,
guys-
check call was a fine frequency on that line too.
As a function of the SPR, I'm guessing. Okay, yeah, I think you just let this go.
Yeah, I would fold.
Yeah.
Not the best flop.
Nope.
No, you could probably raise this king 6 at some frequency, no?
I got a spot. I think more late in the MTT, if I do the Ben CB like powerhouse, 4-bet jam the king 6 suited or 3-bet jam the king 6 suited, I will like flop the full house.
Nice.
But to be honest, for sure, it's a spot you need to 3-bet.
I don't think so.
It's a question, our SPR is pretty low, to be honest, so it may not, but it may. It honestly, it may pick this combo.
Picks king 7.
King 7, okay, not king 6.
And the important thing is it is pulling from this pool of hands, right? So, I mean, it is a thing. It is a thing here.
Yeah, but it's shoving.
King
Yeah,
high.
it is just shoving, which is pretty wild, right?
Shove it
Pretty
right into it.
bonkers.
So
Oh,
this is
yeah,
too tight. This
please.
is, this is
Surprising.
100% too tight. I know for a fact this is too tight. You could even check raise this combo.
Sure.
High, low, you got backdoor flush, you got straight draws you can turn, and you got an overcard.
I think you're right. I think you need to continue.
I don't always have strong convictions, but this, I got some convictions.
I'm in it.
What do you want me to say? I'm a nit.
There's a lot. There's a lot of turn cards that are really good that you can barrel from this particular combo, so yeah, it's not bad.
So
It's
it wants
more
the
of a
front door
call.
more. It wants, yeah, it's more of a call.
Because of
If
the
we-
SPR. Just
Yeah.
because of the SPR.
Yep, you're right 100%, Louis. If we were playing 40, this would lean check racing.
More deep.
Excuse. Yes. But calling nonetheless.
Nice.
Nice.
Let's go.
Gotta win your flips.
So how wide are you calling if it's just the one jammer? Are you calling this if it's just the 21 guy? Like, it's obviously a fold when small blind goes in, but. what do you-
21 big
what's-
blind with pocket 7, I fold with the 8s, 9, I call.
Okay. I was
How
gonna
many-
say, cuz if it feels close, right?
Cause I'm calling here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I call here sometimes too, and I don't know.
In bounty, I think it's called, but in the non-bounty,
I
These
mean, if it's,
spots suck, because you look at HRC and you get one answer, and then you look at the villain and you think about what he's actually shoving, and you're like, huh.
well, yeah, exactly. It gets pretty close, and I've been doing some investigating on this myself lately, and I just don't know the right answers sometimes.
So you're saying a small blind would have shoved your call, or which one?
If,
Well, so if this
Yes.
is a PKO, I'm calling this all day.
yeah,
Dodging
If
bullets.
it's, yeah. If it's a non-PKO, I'm really just kinda curious where we're drawing the line versus the late position shove.
yeah, but I was
And-
folding 21 big blind versus the guy who jammed the button there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
The key is look at the difference in EV between 6, 7, and 9 here, right?
There's a dump off, right? There's like a cliff
Yeah.
between 8 and 7. Pretty steep compared.
Take 10% of aces, sevens is still in there.
Yeah,
Just-
it's like the floor, right? It's a miserable hand.
Yeah.
Do I like this jam?
I
Ace
jammed the ace
seven?
queen suited, I flat the ace queen O.
Okay. It's probably a fine way to structure it. It's just I'm assuming we're getting like a little bit later. He's opening off 16 from EP into basically an entire table. Like, it just kinda reads strength to me.
Yeah,
I don't know
but
if I would-
thing is, you got ace queen, so for 17 big blinds, what are you gonna do?
You're right. Yeah, I mean, it's
Ace
kind
queen
of,
suit, 17 big blind, I think it's just an easy jam or easy call a jam.
I would jam both, honestly, offsuit or offsuit, maybe.
I
I'm
like
thinking-
that, I like
Yeah.
how he play his ace queen offsuit, I will do the same.
Yeah,
so, let's see. Versus.
I don't think you have a C bet here.
yeah,
If I see, I think I studied the spot and if I see bet, I need to bet big.
sure.
I jack big blind, 25 bigs.
Be right back, I'm gonna make my coffee.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I agree. Don't see bet this hand without like any equity.
You need a diamond, right? 640.
Yeah, or something junkier, something lower in range, something with a 7, with interaction with a straight, something.
Before I make my coffee, just need to think, I was making a 100% C bet this day, almost.
Which is probably not a bad thing.
50-50. You really want a diamond in your hand to bet. Without the diamond, you check a little bit more.
Hey, by the way, while you've been talking about this hand, I've been looking at the ace queen suited spot. At a few ICM adjusted ranges, and it seems to prefer flatting the suited and jamming the offsuit. Opposite of what Joe was saying.
Mhm. Uh-oh, that's trouble. What do you do here?
Right.
Fold.
You fold?
Dude, you opened EP, man, and this guy's jamming the big blind. Like, what is this?
You got eights.
Yeah, it's your lowest pair.
PKO,
is
you
like-
said you would be calling though? PKO
No,
calling?
no.
Not our
no,
lowest
no.
pair, Joff.
No?
No, so like, covering is an important function of that one. We're covered here, so we're way less incentivized to run equity with eights. Whereas.
Okay, yeah, I
he
gotta
wants to.
remember that.
Yeah, but, I don't know, man, like eights here, I think nines is like a go with, but eights is kinda like, we're in trouble here a lot.
I'm
Cause
creating.
like, what's the
I'm
bottom of his
confident.
jamming range?
My line and a pip load,
There's no way
What's the
to
bottom
the
of the-
pool.
What's the bottom of our bros jamming range here, huh?
4s, 2s.
Fours, twos? Are you
Yeah.
crazy?
Into an under the gun open, he's like,
It depends on who's doing it, right? But
And,
No, no, no,
But
no, no. We're
let's
talking
talk
at
balance.
equilibrium.
Let's talk
Yeah, we're talking
balance,
at,
yeah.
we're talking at equilibrium. It's
under
a,
the gun is folding fives, fours, threes, and twos. So
And
like,
because the depending on who's doing a thing, I guarantee you he's tighter than the solver. I guarantee you.
yeah,
yeah.
Joe Rivers tighter than the solver for sure.
I don't like the depending on who's doing it answer because it's a cop out. There's no way to combat that answer and there's no way to prove that answer.
yeah, I agree. First, you need to answer indeed. What would you do as a solver?
Right. And then we work off of that.
Then work
Yeah,
off.
and if you know that a guy is a maniac, he's V-pipping 75%, then that's fine. Get after
Then
it
it's
with it.
probably a fine adjustment, right?
But if you see a guy who's V-pipping, 14%, those eights are gonna be in trouble.
So like, okay, so here, this is,
So
what are
Chippy
we
V
looking
is
at here?
close.
So if Chippy V's close and we're adjusted at all, like,
Yeah, then it's probably still close, but yeah, so it's
NPR five.
Here's the solution. You should be calling off.
Chippy V, yes.
I
But
like, I
look at
like,
the
I
cliff.
like that you keep reiterating that, Josh. Thank you.
Look at the cliff. Pocket
Hey, by the way,
7.01 EV.
Chippy
By the way,
V,
I'm testing out some new fancy 10% of the field left ICM ranges. And, MP versus big blind jam, 20 big effective, eights is indifferent. It's folding and calling.
I mean, open eights, right? I see them.
yeah, so
You
Chippy V,
are
we call,
opening-
ICM, we mix folds and calls.
Yeah.
That seems to be pretty close to the answer, I would guess. What did, by the way, what did Joe do? Did he fold that?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay. This is a good jam. I go back and forth. Alright, 14, what are you guys doing with that hand?
min raise.
I'm in race. Yeah.
Is there any merit in just piling these chips in? Or
This
am I
is,
kind of like,
No ace blocker,
everybody
man.
wants.
You're not suited either. I mean, what are you trying to do?
If-
Wizard has it as a jam at low jack 14 bigs.
see,
I think
that's why
it's-
I'm
I think
kinda
it's really
close
close.
with it.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, I think it's
Chip,
really close.
that's Chippy
Yeah,
V.
sure. Yeah, sure, but it's just pointing out that it's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
close. I don't know exactly where we are in the tournament.
Yeah, if you
I
get
th-
later in position here, you're gonna do it too, right? Like cut off.
So these 10% ICM ranges are prioritizing the equity realization combos that have the flush draws. So it's
What?
like all your suited broadways, it likes a little bit more.
What was that? That was so scam.
Queen scam.
Pocket five, sixes.
Jesus, everyone goes all in now.
Yeah, this seems good. King nine's fine here. It's probably close. I don't know. What do you think?
With 7 bigs, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah,
What are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do?
probably above 9.
Just fold. Or
By the
jam.
way, I'm actually, 10 big blind hijack, RFI. It's folding.
No, not a king.
I would not play it like that.
7.
Hijack cutoff button. This is like one, this is like a pip out is what it's showing me here
Yeah,
off 10,
I jam the king nine, but not the king eight.
right? It's probably, yeah, it's right there at the edges of things is what it looks like.
Joe, I
Yep.
wanna ask you something quickly.
What are you gonna do?
This
What are you
here,
gonna do?
why do you fold here, Joe?
I don't like to put my tournament live on the flip.
Okay,
It's like the best case scenario I got there, it's a flip. And all other, it's a big blind rejam there. He got a fucking strong range. And the
Yep.
minimum he got, it's like ace queen suited, ace king off, and all the better pair than me don't rejam me with 7 there. Like
I kind of agree.
never in an age.
okay,
And I think I just flipped there too much. And at this stage, we are like 100 away or like 150 to the bubble, 100 player. And I don't want to flip for like 20 big blind when I know I can just make the easy money and fold and don't take the chance to just bust there on a flip or be totally crushed.
Doesn't GTO have
Interesting,
five
man.
and fours and ace four and ace five in range?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Or
Joe
combos.
doesn't
Big-
think he rips ace five here.
Exactly. Big blind is supposed to have hands like that. And if you think they don't have them, like the chart I'm looking at has him doing jack 10 suited 100%, king 10, queen 10, like 40%.
If you
So
three
the-
bet
yeah,
jam
exactly.
Jack 10 suited versus under the gun range, to be honest, you're gonna lose money in long term in my mind.
I actually
I kind of,
disagree. I think jamming the big blind wide, like reasonably like solver like this is great. People fold.
This
I
is
think
great
calling
to jam
off
the
against
big
the-
blind versus cutoff a button, not versus under the gun.
No,
not
I
in
think
the
people
high
have
ICM
raised fold. I mean, look at you. You have a raised fold here. But I think calling off against the population's tight range here is really bad. Really bad. Like if they only have jacks plus, then you're torching.
I really like how you see this hand, Joe.
yeah, I do too, Joe.
Cause I ramble too much here.
I think people just over too much call on this kind of spot or you are too much behind.
Yeah. Yeah, because in my mind, it's like we have 20 big blind, our equity is good, blah, 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 blah. But when you think about it a little bit more, yeah.
But it's not, it's
right.
not just the equity there, it's your life
Yeah,
in the MTT.
yeah.
It's not like a video game, you got the or cash game, you just rebuy, you make a second life. It's
Oh,
when-
man. Okay, so how close to the money bubble are we here? Are we post money bubble? What's going on here?
This bubble or pretty close of the bubble,
Oh,
Before or after the bubble?
uh, before the bubble, like
Oh, man.
50 player,
50 play, oh.
like
ah,
75 player.
No
Something
jam.
like
Dude.
that.
Alright, so this is gonna need a little bit of PFA, I think.
There, I know
What?
I'm in front of the range of the button jam,
agreed.
like 100%, and I got 10 big blind, and I think it's just a good spot to take there. It's for sure, it's like a gamble, but I think I'm too much away in front of his range of 10 big blind open on the button.
Yeah, 25 is gonna be close here, I think.
25, I think I fold, but 20, I think is just an easy.
I was just saying 25% of the field ranges.
Okay, 25 big blind, I fold ace jack off, but the ace jack suited, I'm there. But I got
Right.
like 10 big blind and the guy 10 big blind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's shoving lots of worse kings and Broadway suited combos. So yeah, it's good.
All the lower aces, like every single one.
Small blind versus R5 from the button. I mean, it's gonna be calling way wide here. I don't think I'm ever calling that wide.
It's ripping. We're facing an open.
I thought it
We're
was a
facing jam.
jam. I thought it was a jam.
It is.
Oh, it's an open jam. Okay.
It's an open jam.
But even still, I mean, I don't really need to see the tool on this one. Like, this is printing.
Well,
When we say 50 left, like 50 out of how many? 50 out of 500?
It's
50 out
a
of
Sunday, Sunday major, Tim, so it's gotta be like
couple
4,000.
thousand. Yeah, couple thousand.
Aces, ace king, I have ace 10. Need a 10.
Honestly, it's not even gonna be close if you look at this range.
yeah, no matter how we put it, we rip every ace six. That's what I wanted to know actually, because ace 10 here, I find myself in a weak position sometimes.
Ace
I
10,
think-
I close my eyes and I click the button too.
Yeah, but that's the thing, I've been running into it. And you too, you've been running right into it.
Come on,
Jeez.
let's go.
But
That's,
You gotta run good.
I think that wasn't money, to be honest.
If it was
Because,
in the money, I'm rumbling, to be honest.
because before the money, I was at 4 big blind.
That's right.
okay. If that's in the money, then it's just like just printing.
so I'm very confident this is never a bet.
Yeah.
I
I'm,
think
I'm,
Our strategy here is polar. We check a lot and when we bet big.
Yeah, also out of position indeed. So.
Low jack.
And even with
versus
our good
cutoff.
hands, we still check raise sometimes. We still just check them to balance.
This hand already wants to just kinda get to showdown also. Like, it's gonna be kinda like, eh.
And let him pick up a pair of jacks or whatever and call a river bet or something.
Let's see what GTO is. I want to know.
Pure
Big
check.
check, big check.
See,
Almost.
whenever you're like opening and then you get an in position caller, it's always like that. You check a lot. And then when you bet, you kind of bet big.
And also, it's an
And
ace
it's-
high flop. He has a lot of aces in his. Column.
Exactly. We often think of this, like, we get this backwards because we think about versus big blind, where we have a huge range advantage on an ace high flop. I don't think we have a much of a range advantage, not that much here compared to some other flops.
We're just, uncapped on the extremes is all, you know, it's like.
I put
we ain't-
25 to know where I'm at in the end, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not good. You wanna like bet big or check. These
But we
kinds
have more of a range advantage on a king high flop.
Now you win.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
I would size up here.
Agreed.
There's only 17 behind. I mean, I
don't
don't
need-
know if we, yeah,
don't-
there's only
Alright, well,
13.
he got them all, so.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Great job.
That's because of the SPI. You don't have to size up that gigantic. I think.
Yeah, that's kinda the boat I'm in right there.
I guess though, it might have been a little bit closer to geometric to like size up the turn another half big to big, because then we ended up having to
But that's
bet river like 80% once the flush came in. If he has give ups, we want to get the money, so a little bit more money on the turn, I think.
that gives you a 0.1 extra IV or something like that.
I mean, fair, for sure, but it's just like worth keeping an eye on that, like.
If I remember, this end is pretty interesting.
That's what I thought. I didn't think it was a bet small. This is a big bet spot. I
This
don't
end-
like your sizing. You're deep enough and you have a hand that it's gonna cooler a lot. And like this type of texture, jack
Yeah,
10 8,
flop,
king queen
flop.
8, these kind of texture, you are always very, very like polarized
Yeah,
on your
You can
bet.
have ace queen, ace king, jack.
Yeah.
10.
Kings are gonna call you, queens are gonna call you.
Yeah, so you size up a lot here. Whole lot. Lots of big betting.
And Louis, let me point out a thing you're seeing on your solver there. His motion, which is like, I don't want to go too big when I have such a strong hand. The solver agrees with the sets, with set of kings, set of queens. But the solver, I think, is more interested in fast playing with two pair.
Yeah, I think it's a function of locked up equity. Like, it's gonna be very hard to, it's gonna be harder to beat a set than it is two pairs. Like
Yep.
him to outdraw.
See, and there's so many, like if a jack comes, a 10 comes, if a club comes. That is gonna kill our action, so like, oof,
Oh, yeah, that's a good run out.
yeah.
I
Liner,
I mean,
Folding two pair.
whatever.
What a
I'm,
net.
I'm folding here. I don't care.
Yeah, I think
Snap
you
fold.
can go here.
I think
Like I
the zero
said,
EV call at
interesting hand.
equilibrium.
I was
I
not too
mean-
happy about this end.
It's okay, you got away really cheap.
Yeah.
I like betting here. I like maybe betting half pot here.
I would size up.
I think I put like a check.
Oh,
It's a great turn for us.
It is a good turn. You're blocking the
Yeah.
flush. You got top pair now.
and we're gonna have, oh shit.
Shoes.
Dodging bullets
Jeez.
with Joe River.
God, you lost the minimum against two pair.
Yeah, he smelled that coming, huh?
Yeah, so the flush
think,
completes on the turn. He has a lot of flushes in range. It's not that bad. It's not that unreasonable.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I don't think it's bad. This
I
is what
just
would
play
be doing.
conservative a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, and telling me with a top pair, a good kicker, bet.
Nice. Got him.
Yeah, but
That's a good, that's a pretty good turn
just-
card.
I know, Joe.
just top pair is not a top pair,
Yeah.
top kicker is not a super good end to play for stack in my mind.
Yeah.
For sure, 20 big blind, I'm top pair I get in, but like for 40 big blind, I don't really like that.
What do you do here? What do you do with ace 10 offsuit there?
I've seen some Brazilians go bananas with these kind of holdings and put a cheeky four bet in, but I don't have it in me. I don't have that in me.
I'm in
I'm
the same
gonna-
mud than Galen there.
I would
I'm gonna
not for
fold.
bet, but do you call or do you fold? And what about ace ten offsuit?
Dude,
Ace
this
ten
is the
off,
biggest, this is the biggest punt in the world if you're calling this
Wait,
at this point.
wait,
Like,
wait,
you
wait.
Yeah.
cannot call this combo.
How do you construct your calling range, Josh?
My calling range gonna be fucking strong there. And I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of calling range. I got more like a four
Four
bet
bet,
jam range.
yeah, same,
Well, I
same.
actually think I kind of think it's the opposite. I think our in position, our four bet range is pretty small. I think we have a bunch of suited stuff that's very happy to go to the flop, like,
Yeah,
Like-
10-9 suited, queen jack suited,
yeah,
What's your calling range here?
like jack 10 suited, queen jack suited, 10-9 suited, king queen suited.
Seems good.
and then are we talking at equilibrium versus an equilibrium size or against the super small size? He bet, three bet almost exactly 3x out of
What about
position.
the offsuit one? Ace ten off.
I fold.
Okay, ace jack off.
This sizing. I
I'm
think I
not calling
call,
anything
I
offset.
call and sometime and I fold depend if the guy is pretty aggressive or not.
So
I'm
king
just
queen off, you always
never-
fold?
King queen off, yes.
This you never call with king jack off?
No,
Okay.
I think it's more a four bet than a call.
What do you do with these suited aces?
Ace five call, ace four call.
I
Never
like
four
jamming
bet
those.
here?
I'm jamming these. I'm gonna four bet these. I don't know if I jam, but I like four betting those if you're gonna continue.
Is everybody folding the ace ten off?
Yes, I'm snap folding ace ten off here.
I don't know, man. Ugh.
I
I'm
don't
doing
Calling
think,
those type of hands here are how you end up all in on the river and wondering how you got there.
I'm
How did you
calling
lose?
it.
And why you don't have any chips?
I'm
Yeah, you're
calling
wondering,
king queen
how
off.
did I lose all of my chips to a pair of aces here?
I'm asking
Yeah.
because I'm calling these. And I think it's a call.
I am
Because-
like, I'm throwing those away so quick.
because your range
I
is
don't even think-
wide, you're going to defend wide and the solver is gonna call those. But I don't think it's gonna be a high EV call.
Cutoff, wasn't it? Or is it,
Yeah, you're on the cutoff.
yeah, it's, yeah. so,
Yep.
yeah.
Raise, cut off versus small blind.
Jamming in his face.
Yeah, it's an okay chip EV call. It's the floor of a chip EV call.
It's not a mistake to fold them because they are all bottom of range. So that requires the small blind to be finding enough three bets. So if you find a guy who's three betting 17%, call off all of those. If you find a guy who's three betting 6%, fold all of those.
Here's an interesting thing for me, though. I view this call as like break even meh, but I'm calling 10-9 suited every time. This hand is worth 0.9 bigs in the solver. 10-9 suited is worth 0 effectively.
0.02.
So the
Yep.
way I would handle this is like people don't bluff enough, but they bluff enough from the small blind. When it, and then the motion is like we open from late position and he's just re-stealing basically. So in this kind of motion, I like to defend a little bit wider, like to defend the ace ten off, the king queen off. And I was darned because this one is also like really close, right? Queen
I
jack
don't
off.
think it's close at all.
Well,
It's,
one
it's
tip
like a
away.
0.
That's a double pip, huh?
Louis, let me share for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's only losing 0.01. It's not a huge spew against a solver.
Like you
Sure,
say to.
But
to
I want
you-
2 reads on the villain to call this. I wanna know that he's 3-betting as much as he should be. And 2, I wanna know that he's not a super crusher. If
Okay,
he's a
So
super
30
crusher, I'm just letting it go.
30 effective, 10% of the field, 11 gets paid. So this is post money bubble. And it's before the ICM has really started to elevate. Facing a 3-bet, like. It is going pretty, it is in there with like the king jack off and stuff, and we found like the defense range here. But, as Joe was kind of saying, like, pretty heavy on the 4-bet. Calling is in there, but, I feel like all of this stuff, man, you're gonna put yourself in a tough spot. This is at equilibrium. This is assuming like, that they're finding this. Like all of this stuff, which, I mean, sure, okay, probably at some degree, but. I imagine you could probably clip off some of this kind of stuff, which is gonna tighten this like even further.
This is a Sunday major though. If they're not gonna use GTO on a Sunday major, where do they use GTO?
Yeah, nowhere.
I'm confused about the question.
I am too. Sunday
Yeah.
majors, we expect to be kind of a weak field, not a strong field.
Really?
Yeah, but in a 100 with no satellite is just regular.
Oh, it's regs, yeah, it's reg heavy. It's gonna be more reg heavy. The idea is this is GTO. It's just adjusted for ICM considerations. So as the probability of us finishing further and further in the tournament increases as we get deeper and deeper, there's gonna be like a corrective factor applied to our range, which is gonna effectively tighten us. Taking into those considerations. So like you see how Louis was showing like, this is basically a break even call and then like king jack was in there some and some of this kind of stuff. It's basically like a pip tighter than what you would probably be looking at from a GTO whiz here.
So we kill this pip, and we kill these. And then
Yeah.
it's very close to the ICM answer.
And like we were saying, so it's like these little guys, they are calling some.
Yeah, you risk.
But we're just running, we're running equity here a lot because we benefit a lot from generating fold equity. And the type of hands we're running equity with are high equity holdings. So like these guys are good. They don't realize equity well post flop because there's always high cards, but you know, you put it up against ace king, it's gonna win. Slightly more than 50% of the time. These guys are good. If you get called. They're
That
nice
was
hands.
so fucking bad, the ace-7 call.
Yeah.
Well, it's 7 big blinds, so at Chippy V, scout is okay, but at ICM, it's a disaster.
Yeah, you shouldn't call with ICM.
This is like a 3 table left or 2 table left.
Yeah, that's like, that guy blew it.
Oh.
He was,
Oh,
10% risk premium or something like that.
see, I'm probably pretty close to indifferent with a combo like that. Versus that raise.
Investing, so that's
I like
was think-
raising.
The ace-10 on the big line, I was thinking about you, like last 2 Sunday, when you got this spot and you were not happy.
Yeah, it's miserable. I like this. I think that's good. This is good. 3 ways. I'm playing very defensive. Still probably not committing a chip. Just folding, I think.
yeah, I would fold.
Too big of a bet, right?
And the button bet into 2-person is strong as fuck for sure.
Yep, gotta run some equity here. He just,
okay, so I think we reach a point of the tournament where we need to talk about this hand here. So this guy opens from the cutoff, hijack.
hijack,
and
yeah.
Rip it to him with pocket queens. What do you guys think he should be calling here with?
That range should be pretty tight, man, like ace, queens plus
And 10 plus, like,
10 plus, maybe? Like tens is close, right? I think you still gotta go with those hands.
Ace plus, ace. and
I'm
jack.
folding all of my suited Broadway combos. I'm folding all of my offsuit Broadways.
Folding king, queen.
Right, you guys see there's a 0.7 big blind stack here, right?
Mhm.
And this is what stage of the tournament is this, Joe?
what is the blind? It's 25-50K, it's like almost 2 table.
But you remember that pocket queen?
Oh, I see him.
Yep.
So 2 tables left,
Almost, yeah, 2 or 3 table maximum.
okay. So like you need minimum pocket tens to call off, it, right?
Probably
That's
yes.
about the neighborhood I would be in, I think.
Okay. Well, this guy called with sevens.
What? Yeah, that's
It's the first ICM punt.
and we say it are regs.
This guy, no.
Yeah,
$100
exactly,
regs.
exactly. That's the thing. I wasn't convinced that this is a super, super tough tournament either.
Yeah.
Well, thing
So,
is like,
There are a lot of regs, but there are also still bad people in there.
Honestly, it's
Yep.
just, it's a ratio, right? Like Joe was saying, there's no satellites into this $100 tournament. So you don't have lower stakes players here. So you either have recreationals who have an ABI that this fits into. that are playing on Sunday, or you're gonna have more mid to high stakes regs that are playing this because of the guarantee.
Yeah,
So like the ratio of competitive players at this stage of the field is gonna be higher than, let's
True.
say, something that had a ton of satellites available.
ABI stands for average buy-in for
Yeah,
anyone.
sorry, yeah, that's correct, yep.
Okay, so we open pocket queens, we get shoved on.
Five,
Yeah,
pocket
you
five.
gotta park it, you gotta party here.
So yeah, so we're calling here. What do you think your bottom of your calling range is?
All the pair.
You gotta
Oh,
call
No.
all the
30
pair?
big
Are you
blinds
call-
deep with 30 bigs with a lot of ICM?
I
don't
could
think
be
you're calling
off
every pair.
here.
If you
I'm
check a lot
calling-
of the Triton poker, like the guy who jammed me with 35 big blind, they do that with 3 deuce, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
So
9.
Joe says he jams all the pairs.
oh, he jams, yeah, but you don't call off Holdem.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought I heard it the other way around. Yeah, small blind is jamming all pairs here, or
Yeah.
More or
close to it,
less. Yeah, more or
close
less.
to it.
So then what do we wanna call off?
Pocket jack up.
I think I
Are
wanna
you
call off a
folding-
little bit more than that. I think I wanna
Are you folding
call.
pocket tens?
I'm not sure if they
It's-
shoving small pairs here is good. There's a lot of small stacks. He has 35 big blinds.
And this is 2 table left with
Big
big
stack
ICM.
against big stack. I'm fairly confident you don't do a lot of shoving with pairs.
Could we go ahead and run this through like a fairly high ICM?
I can look
spot
at
and-
something that's probably comparable, like we
Like
just want
roughly.
to. We want button big stack and then we want, small blind big stack. This should be easy
Yeah,
to
we're
find.
we're more or less equal. Like they have 35, we have 30, but if either of
Alright.
us loses, we're devastated.
Alright, so I'm thinking like this 30 and this 34 are probably reasonable. Let's see if we find, alright, so we got 40 and 32 where there's a bunch of shorties, like this is gonna be
Yeah.
relatively close.
That's perfect.
So we'll say verse RFI small, we wanna be here. So the small
But-
blind
yep.
range is jamming these little guys. It's taking your suited aces, some suited kings, and like these combos that realize equity real well. And like, it's just taking some of these bluffs, blocker oriented bluffs.
Still small.
So,
And then I see this is final table exactly. There's no like,
right, so all this means is like the risk premiums are gonna be elevated, so. Button, a 1.76 means the risk premium is about 14%, so. The range is adjusted about 14% tighter than it normally would be.
Could we take an
Um,
example where the button is effect, like the small blind is covered? Cause here
You wanna
the
have
small
one where
blind
this-
jams, but he's gonna survive with whatever happens.
Right, isn't that the case? Doesn't the small blind have more chips than Joe?
I think
Yeah,
it's
this seems reasonable.
effective.
in the hand, in Joe's hand, it was 35 to 30. Here it's
Yeah.
40 to 32, which is, I
That's
think
right.
is reasonable.
That's right. Okay, yeah, okay, he survives it, okay. Yeah, that's
Okay,
fair.
so we'll do verse 3-bet now. So the button facing an opponent small blind. Versus the jam, as Joe was saying, the floor is at tens and it's like
Mixing.
indifferent. Yeah,
Yeah.
you see it's indifferent. You're yielding very little EV. So Joe's, intuitive kind of. His
Oh,
intuition
it's
on the
not
spot is
totally
pretty
good.
close, actually, right? Like. Jacks is gonna be like a pretty slam dunk call and tens is kinda like, you know?
Ace queen suit, pretty slam dunk call, ace queen, oh, I fold.
Yeah, so like Joe's pretty dialed in here. I was a little wider than this, I think. I would be put in a hard spot with this combo when you should just be letting it go.
In big ICM application, I think the chip is worth more than a gamble.
Of
It
course.
is, it is. And just,
Yeah, I was thinking
What-
eights, so I'm off.
so when we survive with 4, the range does widen a bit. You see, like it was indifferent here.
Yeah.
This scenario is, to be fair, this scenario is a bit different because we're both on the lower end of the chip arrangement here. So it's not really as accurate as the one we just looked at. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
of
never
course.
mind. We won't dive into that one too much, but. Yeah, pretty dialed in, pretty good.
And we see the ultimate big punt of the day.
So fives, I
Okay,
mean, fives fits in that range,
Yeah.
like, When the risk premiums are high, like you stand to lose a lot, he stands to lose a lot. It's gonna take some of these polar combos.
You need to take it.
So he's making a lot of money, like, cuz your calling range is so tight and your opening range is so wide.
That's the
Like-
movement, yep.
Think
It's a
that's
big,
where the
it's a
money
big,
is.
big cooler, this one.
Yeah. Is
It's
this
like
50?
Yes, it's a, no, I think it's yeah,
Final
it's
two?
final two. Yeah, because I know, I don't get crack my aces.
Do you min click here ever, or do you just rip?
I think the guy is like a shorty, and in my mind, he was calling, but I was wrong.
Pretty,
Good,
pretty
because he
crazy
probably
fold.
has a six.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy fold by that guy.
right. This is good.
Easy life.
Yeah, and Mo jinx me there.
Oh my god. This is final two tables. I remember watching
Yeah.
that hand.
Was
I
this
was
low?
thinking like, no, it's not Mo.
Okay,
He was talking about, he was complaining about how Joe just runs so good.
And bang, the jack on the.
Yeah, this is final two tables 100%.
Yeah.
Cause I remember I was thinking like, this is insane.
I think it's now like there I start to running cold.
that's a very good barrel.
Need to
I
barrel
like the barrel.
base.
Yeah, I like the barrel. Six is probably fine open. Ace five, probably good open.
6, I think it's the bottom.
I like this raise. I like a jam. You run too bad, Joe.
Oh
This
my-
is close. This is
Whew.
close.
that
This is,
one-
that was a FT bubble at 10 player.
Oh, he limped. Okay, what are you calling versus jam there? If he just opened jams nine into you,
I think I called with king 9.
what's the floor?
I don't think it's a good call with you, man.
It's close,
No.
right? It's gotta be close.
It's bottom.
I don't know, I kinda think it might be a call against 9 bigs.
Exactly in
yeah.
my mind, what I was thinking.
I'm more like king jack here.
See, king
'Cause there's
jack, I feel like
ICM.
is like, you gotta go, right? You gotta go at king jack, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah.
King-
Slammed
King
it.
ten-
Ten is
really interesting.
probably like, you look at the guy, if he's in it, if he's in it, not in it, alright? Cause
That
some
seems
people
correct.
will jam very loose here.
I hear you all that.
You can jam.
King ten for me is the hand that makes, king nine, I'm never running it.
Oh. Good against me, Louis.
But I'm
Chip
happy
EV
because it's me
Chip EV
and
calls
jam it.
every single king.
I calling here.
Every single what king?
Chip EV in that spot, 9 big blinds, calls every single king.
Okay.
So that's like a sense of where you're starting from.
That was final two tables, right?
This is FT, yeah, this is FT now.
So I think on GG your calling range should be tighter than other websites because of how the chip changed the final table. So it's actually not like he's jamming 10. It's like he's jamming 15 or 20.
Yeah, that's a very good
That's
consideration. We
right,
kind of
like that.
overlooked, right? We didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Look, the final tables on GG adjust to like the average chip stack being 40 to like somewhere in there, so. When you're at final two tables, every chip you lose is actually more representative of like 1.5 to 2 big blinds in some cases. Or every blind you lose.
Yeah, it's similar to where I had queen eight off in a small blind versus like a 10 big blind stack, and a lot of people was like, you can jam any two here. I didn't want to jam and get called and then go to the final table with, instead of 55 big blinds, I'd have like 25.
Yeah, that's a pretty good, consideration.
Bad turn.
Hmm,
What do you wanna do here? Rip in his face?
yeah.
He has the least ICM pressure. Or all-
There's two other
Mm.
short stacks with him. He can't really just call off all willy-nilly.
Yeah, there's a three-way tie for bottom floor, the floor here, which has gotta be a couple $1,000s.
Well,
I
if
do
we
like,
have a wide raising, jamming range, this is certainly.
yeah,
Like,
that's
I think
a fair way
suited
to say it.
aces suited, or I mean, offsuit aces and then suited kings fit
Oh,
kind
I
of
got a good
nicely
one.
into that.
This one's gonna be pretty good.
By a lot, so that's also.
Alright, so. This is, it's got a 12, a 12, an 18 and 18, and we're 40 in the small blind. As tied for chip leader, and it's
Yeah.
just like jamming everything in his face. Like if this suited king is just like slam dunk.
Okay.
You
All you
see
can eat.
where I need to work.
Yeah.
Mhm. Like
And
you have a 100% VPIP here basically, and 53% of your VPIP is jamming.
Ladder.
Yeah, something what I also saw in videos indeed. If you cover by a lot, so four times or something like that, then you can
You
jam
get
anything.
you get to go crazy. What do we do here?
I
The
don't know.
arrangement's pretty tight, man. I kinda like a micro 3-bet here.
What about
Yeah, 5.5 bigs.
I think 5-5's good.
piling?
Mm,
What about
I'm
piling?
noticing we're basically tied with 1, 2,
Ooh.
3, 4,
Oof.
5 stacks at the table.
You know, piling's
Sucks.
probably a reasonable answer, but I don't know if I have the heart to do it, Louis. I don't know if I have the heart.
Okay,
I like jamming, I think.
I mean, calling is
Is-
never gonna be wrong, right? The question is, can we pressure it?
I don't like calling. I like jamming or three betting. I don't like
Yeah.
calling.
The advantage of three betting is indeed if they fold more likely.
You'd have to HRC this to get a grip on it.
Nicky is an aggressing territory. When you are on the FT and with a lot of chip.
Yeah, so we have this guy covered and we can just apply pressure. Like, if we jam, he can never ever call us. If we three bet us, he has to call super tight.
So 6 max.
Yeah.
Cutoff versus hijack, 25 equal stacks. Ace queen off there is a majority flat and a minority 3-bet.
Never piling.
Only combos piling. 1.6 or piling, 1.6%. Ace king off
king
full
off.
pile.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Figured
it's
that.
balancing with ace 5 and ace 4 suited.
And then
Everything
pocket
else is-
queens. Tell me pocket queens is piling.
No.
Pocket queens
three
is,
betting.
dude, pocket queens
You're
is
calling?
flatting 65% of the time.
What?
Yeah, equal stack is extreme ICM on everybody.
Yeah, so like the average risk premium here is
15.
13% adjusted.
Okay, this is
Pretty high.
insanity. I have to see it.
Pretty adjusted, my friend. Alright,
Pocket queens, what?
25 equal stack. So if we go a little shallower,
You have still some players behind you also. I mean, it's not that.
Okay. A little shallower, we're going with ace queen and queens.
Is there anything with like 4 middling stacks and then a few like 25s and then 20s?
I already looked for that at 8 max, couldn't find anything.
There's a bunch of
What ab-
30 and 50.
What about the 30s, 10s?
Are you guys still looking at my screen?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
point me in
I
the
thought
right direction.
I thought I saw one. Maybe not.
I was struggling, trying to find one. I was looking though.
'Cause yeah, our spot
12,
is even worse
54.
than all equal, right? Cuz there's a lot of big or a lot of medium stacks and too short, right? Like 2 around 15.
Here's 30 equal. This is pretty interesting. Yeah, like king.
What? I've never done this in my whole life.
Late position, late position.
You
King?
see ace queen O call there, no?
Yeah, ace queen O is calling, in the arrangements we've looked at where the risk premium's high. Yeah, I don't see an asymmetric arrangement that's gonna like match what we're looking for.
Okay, I
Yeah, I
think
don't
I
see
need
one
to
either.
trade more ICM,
Yeah, same.
cuz I never flat queens and kings here.
We all do. Everyone does.
Always.
I always flat. No.
We need to study ICM pressure and ICM
Yeah.
ICM short stack.
Yas here would go all in with just one queen in his hand.
Yeah, of course. Of course not.
So here, I think you have a big bet, not a small bet. What do you guys think?
I think post flop, at a final table like this, when you're covered. And you are kind of in the box
You're
with,
supposed to check sometimes, right?
I would say you're probably, if you're gonna bet. It's gonna approach 50% pot as the big bet, but I would not be surprised to see this just being like, I don't wanna play a big pot with you and checking.
Well, think it's all reasonable, but I don't like it that small here.
I was
Yeah, I
not
don't-
folding. If I was not folding, is my plan. It was to bet small and call if you raise, and if you call, that give me the option to check back the turn.
My concern with betting small and, kind of like baiting him into a raise almost with his range. I feel like, you're kinda setting yourself up for an ICM punt. You know, cuz you can't fold when he actually has a better hand and you don't. You gotta continue with a hand like this.
Yeah.
Like if he check raises you. And then you call the turn and he just piles the river, what are you doing here?
Need to fold with the board texture.
Yeah, man, like I would be
Not happy.
not happy is the good way to put it.
That's the reason you check indeed a lot here, because there's not a lot of hand turn equity killing cards. I mean, there's not a flat set and a lot of equity. Okay.
This,
Yeah.
is this a spot where we should flat the queen?
6 left.
With
Yeah,
too shorty.
Facing a big stack. You're a clear third place. Wow, what do we do here?
I think out of
100% rip.
position is gonna lean us towards three betting more.
Alright, I'm gonna try to find an asymmetric setup like this, but this is, we may
Cut
not have
off
some.
40 and 25, something like that.
I like the jam there.
Yeah, for sure.
You like that?
My natural response is to jam, but I'm wondering now.
Okay, this is a little bit different. It's the low jack is 40 and we're 22 and there's shorter stacks. This one's actually okay, I think. So we're gonna put us in the small blind versus a low jack open. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you're just running equity with so much.
Makes sense.
It doesn't matter. You're just full, you're just jamming. It's not even close.
Talking about good hands.
Mm-hmm.
You lose this one.
What's our calling range here?
I think it's the end I bust.
You got one big stack and a couple shorties, huh? And the big stack's wreaking havoc.
And we are the shorty, the most short.
I call with ace 10 there with my stack.
I got something here. Let's see. Small blind versus cutoff RFI. This
Yeah,
is like,
it's less ICM pressure on us here than a lot of the other spots we've seen.
so, wow.
Ace 9 suited is a call like.
It really matters if you're ahead or behind these other two short stacks.
Yeah,
This
for
range
sure.
I'm looking at, has you in second place. By like a marginally different, a marginal difference, and it's folding ace king off.
Because
Wow.
big ICM,
Yeah, big ICM.
you need to jam, not to call. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
calling is way bad, worse than jamming yourself. I mean.
It's, I think since you're the shortest though, that being said, I think you can probably go with this.
And not by you're by far the shortest. It's not.
Yeah, he's like 30% shorter than all the other guys, right? So it's like
Yeah.
probably
Okay.
fine to click the call button here.
Okay,
Pretty interesting though.
Oh, we lost the flip. Oh, well.
If you win the flip, then you're almost certain for another pay jump. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe two.
oh, well played, Joe. You did pretty well overall.
I liked it. I thought it was good.
There's
was-
a couple of pre-flop spots where you're a little too tight, but that's it. Great post-flop game and we're all pretty good.
I know
Happy for you, nice
I'm in
result.
it.
Yeah, but most tournaments that pays off. I mean,
Yeah, so well played, man. GG, thanks for sharing your hand.